and welcome to Chamber Chat, a series in partnership between WIMPEG and the Monmouth Independence Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center, in which the community has an opportunity to get to know our chamber members outside of their business and organization. Joining me today, I have the owner of Carpet Hero, Lynn Myer. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you.
Now, you've been in Monmouth for, I'm thinking, most of your life in this community, and you now find yourself as the owner of Carpet Hero. How'd that come about?
Oh, well, I went to college. I grew up south of here, and I went to college here, moved to Salem, and ended up moving back here. And then I stayed and worked in the community and outside of it a little bit. But then my daughter came along, and instead of having to send her off to daycare every day or whatever, I decided about 9th grade that I should stay home. So I decided to stay home, and my neighbors, who happened to own Carpet Hero, asked me to come over and help them with some bookkeeping things, which is what I typically did professionally. And then it morphed into this.
Now you're the owner.
Yeah, 15 years later. Yeah. Well, not quite that long, but yeah. About that.
No, well, that's interesting. So what started as helping your neighbors has now become you're a business owner in our community.
Yeah.
So it was never really a dream of yours to be a small business owner?
To be a small business owner, yes, because I did have a small business about when I was in my early 20s, but no, not exactly. I figured I would be bookkeeping and doing payroll and that sort of thing, which is what I had been doing.
Well, you did a great job with Carpet Hero. I see the vans out and about. People love the service that you provide. Obviously, it's worked well for you, and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So professionally speaking, what would you say has been one of your greatest accomplishments?
Well, aside from keeping the business still going in spite of the economy, because the economy hasn't been friendly, especially in the last 5 years, it's made it very, very challenging, especially for a business like ours. It's not a storefront business, and yet we've been able to maintain a storefront. And so it's not that that's expensive, but it does add to your overhead. But I feel like if you don't have that storefront, your visibility drops somewhat. So we really need that for Carpet Hero, is that visibility. So staying in business in spite of the economy, I'd have to say, is probably my biggest success at this point. Plus, raising a family here in town, and I think that we've done a very good job with that.
Well, I think there are a lot of business owners out there who are probably nodding their heads in agreement with you. Yes, we survived the Great Recession, and things are turning in a positive direction very slowly. Hopefully that trickle-down effect hits all of us a little faster perhaps than it's currently doing. You've been a great supporter of the Chamber, Carpet Hero, as far as maintaining membership. You currently are on the Chamber board. You sponsor not just chamber events, but community events as well. What would you say for you has been one of the most important benefits of being a chamber member?
Of being a chamber member? I think probably the networking is really helpful to me, and getting to know personally the other people in town who have businesses. I've worked for the school district a very long time ago, so I have that connection there, which is very helpful. And then with the college, I've gotten in just a little bit with the college, and so the chamber has helped connect that and connect the dots between, I would say, the business owners and managers and even apartment complexes and property management companies. It's all connected, and so if you can help make the connection with whatever you're doing, then I think it benefits everyone, and I think the Chamber is a very good connection with all those entities.
If you look at our members, we really do have a diverse range of members. Most of our members, of course, are in the Monmouth Independence area, but we do have some Dallas, Salem, and beyond. So we really are a greater Monmouth Independence area chamber. But you're right, the connection, it's been fun for me since I started this position of watching people come to an after-hours mixer and just start the conversation, and the next thing you know, it's like, friendships have formed, and that's great. And that's kind of one of the reasons why doing Chamber Chat is important, is having people have a chance to get to know you outside of just being Carpet Hero.
That's one of my favorite parts about being in the chamber, is that you get to know people outside of their business. It's like getting a behind-the-scenes view.
So personally speaking, we'll transition to that. What has been one of your greatest accomplishments personally?
Well, probably the fact that I didn't plan on this as life, so I guess you take what comes to you, you know, in spite of your plans. So probably being able to somehow manage the business, because I was managing it for most of the time. I've only been owner the last couple of years, so managing that and putting my daughter through school and helping her with that, and then helping raise my granddaughter. I'd have to say nothing else really matters to me if you don't have your family all intact and in good order. So I'd have to say that's probably my greatest.
That's a nice accomplishment to have. Supporting a family is always important. As you know, the Chamber, we're not just the Chamber, we're also the Visitor Center. So we do look at tourism and what we can do to help bring people to our community. In your mind, what is a feature that makes Monmouth and Independence so special?
Oh, well, one thing that brought me back here, that kept me here, was the fact that it's a small community. You feel safe here. It's small enough that you can bike or walk to different things that are going on, or it's just a short drive. There's so many points of interest around, I'd say, in a 30-mile perimeter or something like that. And you can find so much to do. And it's beautiful. When I come back from vacation to, say, lower parts of the United States, where it's dry and it's not green, it is so welcoming to come back to and see the fields and the flowers and just stuff like that. I really enjoy the wildlife, but mostly the green.
Well, I agree, and I said this in a previous chamber chat with another person. You drive through, whether you're on Highway 51 or 22 or 99, but you go through and you've got just different shades of green. You got just this beautiful display of, you know, mountains and the sun or the sun setting, you know, or whatever, and just it's really, really pretty and just sort of breathtaking sometimes. Like, wow, I live here.
Well, here locally we have the lavender field that's just outside of town, and it's so beautiful when you drive by. And then south of town, there's someone that grows sunflowers, and they just plant them for people's enjoyment, I think, and it's just beautiful. So
yeah, you don't find that. I moved here from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I don't recall, you know, a lavender farm in the greater Charlotte area. Yeah. So now, what is an interesting hobby or interest that you have that would surprise people?
Oh, I don't know if it would surprise people so much, but I've recently developed a knack for growing raspberries, and I just have the biggest raspberries I've ever seen that I've been able to grow, and it was certainly by accident, but been able to culture those and share them with people who I've tried to encourage to take some of the plants because they're very efficiently growing. So
how did you get raspberries? How did it start?
A friend of mine had a raspberry patch, and my grandma used to have raspberries as a kid. We used to sit and eat them, my brother and I, and I always thought they were so very special because Grandma had them, and then my friend had them, and she said, "Oh, please take some of these starts. They just grow, you know, crazy." And so I took them, and they actually sat in a box for 2 years in dirt, and they were growing in spite of that. I thought I would stop abusing them and plant them, and then I found a little trick to having them bloom more, and so they bloom from May through the early part of November, and I get raspberries the size of my end of my thumb.
Wow.
So yeah. It's fun to share.
Do you do anything with your raspberries?
Oh yeah, I give them away, and which is really a nice thing because they feel so special because they're so expensive when you go to buy them, but they make the greatest raspberry freezer jam.
Okay. So one last question. What's on the horizon for you, either personally, professionally? What do you see are some next steps coming up for you? We're at the beginning of September right now, so we're getting into fall, but what's in your future?
Well, that one really is a difficult one to answer. If I knew that, I would be really delighted. Well, one thing is that I've diversified a little bit into new construction cleanup, and so I've got a couple of builders that I'm currently doing. A partner and I are doing new construction cleanup for him and them, and it's opened up a new part of not just the cleaning business, but business world and housing and all that I hadn't been a part of before, and I'm really enjoying that. So I'll probably take that and go a little bit.
So you find yourself once again on a path maybe not previously chosen, but one that you're embracing and enjoying and just taking, right, just going on the ride, see where it leads you?
Right, right. I'm not going to lie, it's hard work, and I don't have a crew for that. I'm doing it myself, like I said, with a partner, but I'm hoping that I can develop that and go a little farther maybe with it.
Well, with your ambition and your ability with everything else you've accomplished, I feel like you will. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here today and being part of Chamber Chat. I definitely learned some things about you, and you're on our chamber board. I've known you for a couple years now, but I've learned some things today. So thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Chamber Chat. Joining us now, I have Jason Saunders, who is the sales director at MINET. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I honestly don't know you that well, so I'm interested for the answer to this question, but we're just jumping right on in. Why did you choose to settle to work in the Monmouth Independence area, specifically with MINET?
Actually, I'm from the area, and I've worked everywhere else, and it's a great opportunity to come home. I have family here, and where I was working before, I was in sales, a lot of traveling, a lot of not in town. So to come back and work in my hometown was nice. It was really nice.
So born and raised in the Monmouth
Yes.
Independence
Yep.
area? Okay. So definitely home. Okay.
Yeah, definitely home, yeah.
Well, then you will definitely have an answer for this. Oh, at the Chamber, we're also the visitor center, which means we work with tourism. We want to bring people to our community. Since this is home for you, what would you say is really a special feature?
What I like about it is we're close to everything. I always hear, people, oh, we're an hour from the mountains, an hour from the beach, an hour from, Portland. From our little community, we can pretty much go anywhere we need to, as far as sites and everything like that.
So do you have a particular activity that you enjoy the most in this area since you've been here?
There's a lot of, you can walk the town, hiking. Like I said, everything's close by. It's not very far away. And it's a small town with a small town feel, and I appreciate that.
Well, that's definitely something my husband and I that we like about living here is that if you want the bigger city, you can get to Portland.
Exactly.
Like you were saying, you can get to the coast, you can get to the mountains. Everything's really within reach. But you have this amazing small town and the opportunities that it brings. Speaking of opportunities, professionally with you, what would you say has been one of your greatest accomplishments?
Actually, to come back home and work for MINET and make it succeed, I worked for another cable company for a long time, a very large cable company, and to have a chance to get with a startup in my hometown and make it work was really important for me.
And how long have you been at MINET?
6 years.
So you've been there for a while.
Yep, worn many hats while I've been there, but yeah, 6 years.
Okay. Now, on the personal side, what is one of your greatest personal accomplishments or successes?
I've actually gone through a lot in the last 6 or 7 years, a lot of family loss, personal issues, and I'm just glad that I made it through. It's made me a stronger person. I'm now helping raise my nieces, Sam and Shanoa, and that's the biggest thing I'm proud of right now.
So tell me about them. How old are they?
12 and 7.
Okay.
A second and a seventh grader, yeah.
So we're in the beginning of September right now. School just started. Are they happy or sad about school starting?
They were both very unhappy.
Okay.
Yeah, neither of them were happy. So, but they'll get over it.
Well, I'm sure get back into the groove of school with their friends and all will be fine.
They had a fun summer, and I think they're just sad to go back.
Well, it's always that mix, right? Previously, I was a teacher for 8 years, and there's always that mix of happy and sad when you're going back to school because you're excited, but at the same time, man, I was really enjoying summer.
Yeah, I said, well, I don't get the summers off. I mean, that's not fair. They said that's my fault because I work. But,
well, okay. Now, with the summers here, there's so many activities that are going on. MINET's a great sponsor and supporter of our community. Do you have a favorite activity as far as all the different summer type things that happen?
I'm a big baseball fan. Baseball, softball, those kind of things. And yeah, at MINET, we're truly hometown. We try to support any athletics we can, anything local, which is really nice. Sponsoring softball teams, soccer teams, those kind of things.
Yeah, you definitely see the MINET logo throughout our community on different banners. Yeah, so just that strong sense of community support from employees as well as the company as a whole. Now, what is a hobby or an interest you have that might be surprising for people to know about you?
I think people know I'm obviously a huge Red Sox fan, diehard Red Sox fan. I think everyone knows that about me. I've been back to Boston twice now. I went to Fenway Park, but as far as what people don't know, I'm pretty open. I don't think there's anything they don't know about me, but Red Sox fan's huge.
So I've actually, as well, gone to Fenway a couple times. I'm not as much of a baseball fan, perhaps, but it's a great little, great little, but just the historic stadium and the feel of it. And then when people start singing, Sweet Caroline, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, my wife's not a Red Sox fan, but she likes baseball, and she was very impressed by it, too. She was very impressed. So a lot different than we have here on the West Coast. No offense to the West Coast, but an old stadium with lots of history, over 100 years old.
Yeah, I like the fact they've kept the old stadium as opposed to like the Yankees, who have this nice facility, but it's not the house that we built.
People always ask me, is it just decaying and rats? I said, no, they preserve the old, but surround it with new. I mean, it's a really impressive ballpark. Yeah,
I have cousins, Ray cousin, her husband, who live up there, and that's what has allowed me to go to Fenway, because they go on a pretty regular basis. But we digress. So, baseball fan, Western Oregon, their baseball team has had some great success. The softball team, you're a fan of those? Checking those games out?
I don't get a chance to all the time. When I can, I'll catch a game or two. Yeah.
That's good. Again, that's showing that community support.
Yep. I actually went to Western.
Okay.
More of a Oregon State Beavers fan, but I do get games here once in a while. So.
Now, that is something I have not crossed that path, if you will, of choosing the Ducks versus the Beavers as to who I'm supporting. Still have a little,
Platypus.
Well, that might be my answer from now on. I still like my Carolina Tar Heels, so
okay.
a little ACC, but I'm definitely enjoying the Pac-12 and watching the teams, and I'm just happy it's football season.
Me too. Me too.
We got some games coming up this weekend. Now, with Monmouth Independence, you're talking about the access, very hour here, hour there to get to other places. We have the smaller community feel. What about Polk County as a whole? There is a push right now of helping to identify what makes Polk County special, a destination, if you will, for others to come and experience. So if you were having to market Polk County, what would you say?
It's got a country feel to it, as far as it doesn't have a huge city, a lot of smaller towns, a lot of vineyards and those kind of things, and it's got that outdoorsy feel, real country setting. It's nice. I mean, it's really nice. You're in town, but it seems like you're removed from the big cities and everything else.
Right. One of the chamber pieces that have been put together about the time that I started, so I did not do this, cannot take credit for it. One of the sentences referenced being a small town feel with big city amenities, because we have, we have a MINET, we have the cable, the internet, providers. We've got, a movie theater. We've got restaurants. We have all these things directly in Monmouth Independence. You go a little bit further, and you can get to the country setting, if you will. So there really is a lot within Polk County you can go down to Dallas for some of the great things that they have there as well. They have a drive-in movie theater. How many people have a drive-in movie theater anymore?
Isn't it like the one of two in Oregon or something?
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, people growing up, there's movie theaters everywhere, or drive-ins everywhere, and people come from all over to go to the Dallas Drive-In, which as a kid I went to all the time. I mean, but it's a special thing, real special thing to have a drive-in theater.
Excellent. So what else is there about you? You said you're pretty open book, that there's not a lot of people don't know, but what else, as people with Chamber Chat, the idea is that not only people know MINET, but they may not know Jason. So what else do you want to throw out there? Love of baseball, your nieces.
I mean, embrace family, and I do love working in town. It's incredible. It's nice. I'm close to everything. I'm close to schools for the girls. I'm close to home. Been a wonderful opportunity for me, and to have the chance to work with something so state of the art. I mean, people don't know how rare it is to have something like this. In fact, a few of us came from huge cable companies to come here for this opportunity, and it'd just be nice to see the cities embrace it as much as they do, and to have it succeed.
Well, it was nice when my husband and I were looking to move here just to learn more about the community, and there are other providers, but knowing that something like MINET exists was interesting. That was something we had not, and we've lived in smaller towns and other places, and they didn't have that. So I mean, you've got CenturyLink, you've got Charter Business, we have a lot of access, but having something in MINET just was an interesting, unexpected find. Certainly not ranking them, but just the idea of the two cities coming together to fit that need was really interesting. So anything on your future? Again, we're in early September right now.
It's early September, so college rush is in. We've got 4,000 students coming in, and all of them want service. So we're busy right now. Football season, season tickets to the Beavers. So fall, I'm actually looking forward to fall. I enjoy fall, relaxing a little bit, and weather cools down a little bit. Not ready for the rain, but never am.
No, but the cool nights have been quite nice.
They have been nice, yeah. I can handle the 90 in a day as long as it cools down at night.
Right.
So, just looking forward to, like I said, getting through September and doing some relaxing.
All right, well, Jason, thank you so much for your time today
Okay,
and joining
thanks
us.
for having me.
Appreciate you being on Chamber Chat.
Thanks.
And welcome back to Chamber Chat. Joining me now is Margaret Tomlinson, co-owner of the B Street Garden Cottage. Welcome, Margaret. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Like myself, you are not originally from Monmouth Independence area. I know you and your husband, Robert, have started the B Street Garden Cottage, but what brought you to our community and what sparked the idea of having the cottage?
Well, Robert and I both work at home. He's an artist and I'm a writer. So we were looking for something in it. We felt a small town nearby Portland, which is where we used to live, and looked at a lot of small towns. And we found houses that we liked, but we didn't find a community that we really liked until we discovered Independence, and it just really clicked with us. We felt like, well, there's a bookstore, there's two wonderful cafes, there's wonderful restaurants, and we felt like we just had an instinct that the people here would be people we enjoyed. And we were right.
That's good to know, because you're not packing up and moving. Okay.
Not for a while.
So you found Independence comfortable, decided this was the right fit for you. How did the garden cottage come about?
Well, we actually moved into what used to be Independence's only B&B. We had, in fact, stayed there while we were scouting for houses, and ended up buying what was the B&B and moving in. But of course, since we both work at home, running a B&B out of our house was not an option. And then we felt a little bit responsible for destroying the only B&B. So when an opportunity came up to fix up this sweet little cottage, we kind of leaped at the chance, and it's been really good for us.
It is a really cute place. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. People can rent. They get the whole house, not a room. They get the entire house. It's very cute. It's walking distance from downtown. So it's not the previous Independence bed and breakfast, but it certainly gives people a place to lodge in the town. So thank you for that. Now that you find yourself being not only a writer, but a business owner, what has been one of your, professionally speaking, one of your greatest accomplishments?
Well, in terms of the B&B, the real sense of accomplishment is giving people a way to discover and enjoy independence. It's kind of like, we discovered independence by staying at a B&B here, and one of the really heartwarming moments was when we ran into a guest who was just leaving while we were starting to come to fix it up for the next guest. And we got into a little chat with her and her children, and they said that they had originally intended to go up to see the grand, elaborate Air and Space Museum in McMinnville. And they never got there because they were just enjoying Independence too much.
That's a great story. Yeah, that says a lot about the community.
It does. It says a lot.
Now you've also, you and Robert, you just jumped in. You moved here, you started the business, you've jumped in with a lot of volunteer opportunities, but also as chamber members. What would you say so far has been one of the bigger benefits of being a chamber member?
I would have to say it's the networking. It's really important to get to know people. And of course, we're new here, so we didn't really know anybody when, day one when we moved. So the Chamber has given us an opportunity and kind of a venue, regular opportunities to meet people and get to know them and have them get to know us, and that's been a really good help.
That is one of my favorite parts of going to our forums or our mixers or a chamber event in general, and watching the interaction between people. People who previously have not known one another but now find themselves engrossed in a conversation and then walking away with a smile like, oh, that was fun. So I like that myself.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that I'm no longer the newest kid on the block. Still new, but personally speaking, what has been one of your greatest accomplishments or successes personally?
Personally, I just finished the first draft of a novel that I'd been working on for years and years and years.
Awesome. That is so wonderful. Oh,
So,
years and years.
yeah.
And nice. So what's the next step for that?
Well, it needs a lot of revision still. So I'm embarked on that process, but it's a really nice feeling to have it in a shape where I know I can revise it and make it into a worthwhile novel.
Any teasers,
So-
what the book's about?
Well,
or-
it's set in 15th century Germany. I don't like to
wow.
talk too much about
Okay.
it because that takes away the impetus I need to write.
Right.
But I think it'll be fun. I think people will enjoy it.
15th century Germany. Wow, that's definitely not the topic that was spring to my mind. So interesting. Now I'm curious. All right. What is a hobby or an interest you have that might surprise people?
Well, I don't know that everybody realized that I have a website devoted to historical novels. And I haven't put as many reviews up on the site in the last couple of months since I've been really working intensively on the novel. But I've got some reviews that are going to be going up in September, some new books. I was really wowed by Lois Levine's Juliet's Nurse, which comes out on September 23rd. It's a novel about the nurse in Romeo and Juliet, who's, surprisingly enough, she has the next greatest number of lines after Juliet, or maybe after Romeo and Juliet. I think after Juliet.
But yeah, the
So- and
character
it's
most people probably wouldn't think twice about. You think of Romeo and Juliet, not the nurse.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But she's a wonderful character. There's a lot of both humor and tragedy in the novel.
Right. I'm trying to
So-
remember that from high school. Gotta get some cobwebs out. But so the website. What's the name of your website?
Historicalnovels.info.
Okay. So just any of the books that you personally have read and you comment on them, or just a list of
Well,
historical novels in
publishers
general?
send me historical novels now that the website's become established, and I try to make time to read as many of them as I can.
That's got to be very time consuming.
but a great pleasure.
All right, so obviously for you personally, and Robert, you like the feel of independence. It felt like home. With the Chamber, we obviously are the Chamber of Commerce. We're also the Visitor Center, so we want to bring more people to our community via tourism, the one-day kind of getaway. What would you say is a special feature for Monmouth Independence that really makes us unique?
Well, I think one is first struck by the history of the town when you arrive on Main Street, and there are all these beautiful old buildings, and I think people here are proud of that history, and so that shows. And of course, I'm a history nut, so that really appealed to me. And then you realize, I think the many great places to eat here, which you don't really expect from a town this small. I think the first place Robert and I ate here was the Pink House Cafe, and we were just wowed by it. And not only the food, which is wonderful, but the story of the old house. It's such a charming, cute house with its high peaked roof and so on, and the story of how Paul moved it from across the street.
Like literally moved it. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is great. I know there are people, I get calls at the office asking sometimes about movie times, places to eat and whatnot, because there are people from particularly South Salem who drive across the bridge and they come and they make a date of it. They go to Pink House or to another restaurant, I know, maybe Royal Thai or now Independence Grill, one of those, and then they'll go see a movie at the Independence Cinema, and they find it just a lot more pleasing than some of the possibilities in Salem, because it is a nice feel to our community. And
It
I know
is.
there's a nice pull from South Salem for that. So it's kind of the hidden gem that people are starting to find.
Yeah, it feels very relaxed. We continue to go up to Portland on a fairly regular basis to see friends and so on, and we're always struck by how much more relaxing it is in Independence.
Well, for me, it's even just driving. Again, moving here from Charlotte, North Carolina, and being in a city and that feel of driving, behind the wheel, and everything is just go, go, go. And you come out here and doing 20 miles per hour when I first moved here was really challenging. I didn't know I could go that slow. And now it's second nature. So to go
Yeah.
up to Portland where people are driving fast and it's all about the speed is a little overwhelming sometimes. It's like, you need to slow down.
Well, it's wonderful to be able to walk so many places here. Walking is a bigger part of our lives now, I think, than it was for a while.
So what's on your future? Last question. We're in early September right now. We're getting into fall. You've got the draft of your novel completed. What would you say coming up? What are some big things coming up for you in the next few months?
Well, we're still working on the Arts Center. I know Robert's going to talk with you about that later.
Yes, he is joining me for another chamber chat. Yes, Robert Tomlinson will be here as well with the Ash Creek Arts Center.
Yeah, and I'm going to be teaching a class starting September 11th in setting, how to make a setting come alive. It's a kind of a follow-up to my spring class in character description, and I'm just really proud that several of my students are now writing novels of their own who had not started novels before I taught the class. And so that's very exciting. So I'm looking forward to having some more students and hopefully some new students that I haven't worked with before, and I think that'll be fun.
It sounds great. People can take your class and they get the character, now they get the setting, and like you say, write their own book, and maybe not in 15th century Germany, but no, that's it. Well, congratulations on your success thus far.
Thank you.
On V Street Garden Cottage, there are people who obviously love staying there. You've gotten some really great feedback, and I just really appreciate your time being here today.
Thanks.